Also breaking right now, a Chicago public school teacher accused of sexually abusing students at his elementary school. We're learning the alleged abuse happened for months.
A new report finds widespread failures at Chicago public schools in the wake of a sex abuse scandal.
Upsetting and disappointing, but not surprising.
For years, CPS failed to protect abused students in more than 100 cases. As Dorothy Tucker.
Chicago Public Schools, a place where you are supposed to send your children 5 days a week, 178 days a year, for 14 or so years of your child's life. The school system is supposed to educate your children and keep them safe, but it seems as if the system is failing. Sexual assault within Chicago Public Schools is on the rise, new cases every day, not only from teachers and staff, but by other students, your child's friends. There have been so many cases in recent years that CPS has now created a specialized office, one that will intake and investigate sexual assault cases, primarily those with student-on-student allegations.
To more than 1,600 reports of potential sexual harassment in the 26-2017 school year alone. But its investigators are not consistently trained, and tracking of these incidents is deeply flawed. That's a conclusion of outside counsel Maggie Hickey after sifting through thousands of documents and interviewing more than 80 CPS employees.
As of November 29, 2018, just 2 months into the school year, there has already been over 600 separate alleged cases of sexual violence within CPS. Of those 624 cases, 491 of them involve student-on-student allegations, while the other 133 cases involve adult-on-student allegations. Over half of those cases involve people who do not even work for CPS. Those allegations are forwarded to the CPS Inspector General, whose office has taken over the responsibility of investigating allegations of adult sexual misconduct with students. According to the Inspector General, since 2002, his office has tallied more than 1,000 investigations of sexual misconduct within the district. It is quite obvious that there is in fact a problem within CPS.
Does CPS plan to do so this doesn't?
It was extremely re-traumatizing, and probably worse to me than the event itself was how poorly I was treated by CPS investigators and how clear it was that there was such a lack of a system, an outline, or anything.
Former CPS student Morgan Aranda repeated those claims before state legislators earlier this summer.
I felt like I was the one under investigation.
Questions depending on how you answer to one of them, but it should be 3 at the least. Alright, so the first question was, what are the different policies that CPS has put in place to prevent sexual assault in schools?
So my understanding is a lot of it has to do with the screening of, adults that are in the building. So all employees, even current employees, had to go through like a re-screening, like another background check, to make sure that there weren't any, concerning things on their background. And then now any coming into the building, any adults that are going to be interacting with students, whether it be like a guest speaker in a classroom or a coach, everybody has to go through that screening process. So I believe that's, a pretty strict protocol that's been put in place to prevent that.
And then, do you think that these policies are effective, like the ones you just mentioned?
I hope so. I haven't heard anything to make me think that they haven't been effective. I know that just something that, having had people go through the background check process, there have been some people that weren't cleared. So the process worked as far as saying, okay, something flagged on their background to say no, you can't come into the school. So I think it's, effective in that it's hopefully keeping some people out of schools that maybe don't need to be here.
Okay. Are teachers or administration trained or are aware of how to deal with the event of sexual assault at school?
So we did have a training that all of us were mandated to be a part of at the beginning of the school year. So the week that teachers were back before students started, we all attended a training on that topic. So the hope would be yes. It is like a mandated that all of the personnel, so even if you were absent that day, then you had to make it up.
Alright, and then the last one is, do you know of any sexual assault prevention programs in CPS schools?
I think there's definitely, just trying to get like more information out there, to have students, kind of realize like some of the things that could be leading you down a path that's like not a good place to go. But I don't know that there's like a name of a specific program that I could think of, but I've seen like some of the posters that CPS has put out for us to like display in the schools of, again, trying to just like give students more information and more resources and what to do. And I know there's a little bit more guidelines as far as if there are things that are questionable, like how we as a school have to report it so that it's dealt with a little bit more directly rather than it just being like within the broader, disciplinary or whatever. There's more specific things like for sexual assault.
It's ridiculous, They should have known that. They should have asked immediately to other students if this man was doing.
Vlad, we have a few questions about
Yes.
about how comfortable you are with the administration at this moment. The first question is, what are your opinions on the steps administration has taken to protect students from sexual assault?
I mean, I haven't feel like they've done anything, It's kind of been the students' hands. They're the ones that have been posting, putting out posters when administrators themselves have done nothing.
Okay, thank you. The second question, do you feel safe and protected from sexual assault while you are at school?
No, I don't.
Would you feel comfortable speaking with administration if you were sexually assaulted?
No, I won't.
When this has happened repeatedly to a child, then there is devastating damage to their ability to trust. Obviously for a girl, being able to trust a man if she's been abused by a man. For a young boy, may have been abused by a man or a woman. So the ability to trust is affected. There's also a deep sense of shame and guilt that it was their fault somehow. They did something wrong.
Because of the prevalent nature of this issue, it's crucial that people are aware and educated about sexual harassment and assault. To learn more, visit RAIN.org. RAIN stands for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. RAIN is the largest antisocial violence organization in the nation. They're in partnership with more than 1,000 local sexual assault service providers across the country, and also carry out programs to prevent sexual violence, help survivors, and ensure that perpetrators are brought to justice.
If you become a victim of sexual harassment or know someone who has been sexually assaulted or harassed at school, you should notify a trusted adult such as a teacher or a parent. If there is no one you can immediately talk to, you can always call the National Sex Assault Hotline, who will help you notify an adult or help take action against the assaulter. After notifying, there are many ways to recover. Seeking counseling, therapy, or support groups may help cope with different emotions and trauma from the assault.
We can set up an office of chosen students and staff who will provide assistance for students. We want it to be easily accessible, and we want to make it easy for students to go to this office. We don't want students to feel scared and not ask for help. If the students ask for it, whatever they report or say can be confidential. They should be comfortable knowing that someone else knows about the problem and that they can get help.